setting the expectations for us all this evening, we will not in this time be able to immerse ourselves in the full content. However, what we start here will more than equip you to create a vision for yourself. I believe the CPDL team will be offering personal growth and development courses in the coming weeks, and I encourage you to keep checking their pages for updates. I want to take a few moments to set our intentions for the evening so that we can get the most out of it. I'll share a little bit for myself just so that persons that are now joining us will benefit from that, because Sonia would have already done it for those who were here early. And it's always nice to know who is in the room with you. So I'm going to invite you right now to go in the chat and let us know where you are joining from and one thing you hope to get from this evening's webinar. So in the chat, I believe that Sonia told us where it would be. And you can just let us know where you are joining us from and one thing that you would like to get from this webinar. The session will be an interactive one where you will be invited to share your comments in the chat and participate in a few exercises. We're all here to learn from each other, and I will learn as much from you as I hope you will learn from me. The final 15 minutes will be open for Q&A. I hope you have your notebook, pens, and pencils nearby. This is going to be an exciting evening. So
just a bit of housekeeping. For those of you who are looking for the chat, again, it's going to be on the Zoom toolbar to the right of the toolbar with a little icon with chat.
Who is Karen Thompson? As Sonia mentioned earlier, I'm a transformational life coach, trainer, and speaker, and I'm most passionate about empowering individuals, especially women, to achieve their goals. I've spent several years in leadership roles as a marketer for several international brands, and in my present capacity as sales director of BICO, I get to utilize these skills to influence and guide teams in a very dynamic environment. From a young girl, I always enjoyed helping and supporting others, not realizing then this would blossom into a full-blown passion. My office, wherever I worked, would see a constant flow of persons from every department and every level in the organization. And it was a standing laugh with my team, who often quit whole a number. Redundancy in 2017 provided me with an opportunity to live part of my vision and to achieve one of my goals, to become certified. After searching the investment made, I headed to Orlando, where I became certified as a coach, trainer, and speaker with the John Maxwell team. Now, did we have persons saying where they were joining from, Sonia?
Not as yet. I'm just encouraging all of you to let us know where you're joining us from, either workplace or even territory, so we get a sense of who's in the group.
Okay. Well, that's been a bit about my journey, and that's a picture of me growing up in St. Lucia, so that's where my journey began. Now, let's get started. There is a quote by Viktor Frankl, and Viktor Frankl is the author of this amazing book, Man's Search for Meaning. And it's a quote which I think captures what we are experiencing presently. And it says, "It is our responsibility to look for meaning in life in the darkest time and whatever the circumstances are. It is our responsibility to look for meaning in life in the darkest time and whatever the circumstances are."
Karen, before you continue, could you start your slideshow? If you just press F5.
Start this slideshow.
So if you just press F5, it will come up. Oh, that didn't work. Or slideshow. And if you click slideshow, start from on your menu bar in PowerPoint, click slideshow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, on your menu bar, and yes, you can begin your slideshow. There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. We can all agree that these are unique. We can all agree that these are unique circumstances, never seen or experienced before, at least not in our lifetimes. And it is our responsibility to be clear on the vision we want for our lives, of how we want our lives to look. A vision is a photograph of your life in the future. I facilitate a number of workshops on vision and goal setting, and it's always amazing to me to see how people really want to show up. Question is, what prevents some from achieving this vision? Many things can interrupt persons in their quest to live the lives of their dreams. Creating a vision or writing a vision statement is always important. But now, as we are facing this pandemic, lives have been disrupted, and we are called to make several changes. It is even more important to create clarity for yourself and to pave the way forward by intentionally taking time to create a vision or a map with the direction you wish for your life, both now and later. Now, during this time, is an opportunity to reset, to look at what's working, and also to look at what's not working, and to ask yourself, what are you doing about it? There may have been things that have worked before this time of uncertainty that you may now need to review and make some adjustments. And having clarity of your vision will help you. For many of us, the dynamics have shifted. Some of us are working with reduced salaries, others have reduced hours, and unfortunately, many persons are either not working or not working as they were before COVID-19. What does this all mean? Well, it means that what our reality was prior to March 14th is entirely different from what it looks like today and what it will look like in the months ahead. Creating your vision and setting goals is one tool you can use to map out your way forward. Now we must recognize that this new reality will look different for everyone. A vision is not a blueprint. It is not cast in stone. It's not a one size fits all. It's individual and it's unique. And it's designed by you for you. This evening, I will share some suggestions to get you started, really to focus on your awareness so that you can achieve the best results. In this emerging new reality, our mindset must shift. Most persons are anxious, others are overwhelmed, some are even scared, and a few are even lost, unsure of what to do, where to go, or who to turn to. And in situations such as we presently find ourselves, it is an opportunity to pause and to intentionally set aside some time, much like you're doing this evening, to invest in yourself, to retool, to examine where you are compared to where you want to be in order to have the life that you want to have later. Creating a vision is about digging deep and really looking within. It's about asking yourself some questions and answering them honestly. It's about looking at where you are, what you're going through, what resources you have. It's about being clear on your dream. Zig Ziglar says it best when he says, if you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. It's all about knowing your dream and holding on to it. As one of my coaches and mentors, Paul Martinelli, says, hold your dream. Hold fast to that dream that is yours, that is uniquely you. The more clearly you see your dream, the more clearly you will see your purpose, your why. And that's a very important discovery. John Maxwell says there are two important days in our lives: the day that we are born and the day that we discover why. I want to suggest to you that who you listen to matters. And when you are designing your life, you want to pay attention to the voices you listen to. In other words, be clear of the influences around you. One thing you can do is you can manage your environment. You can limit how much news you expose yourself to, and there's quite a bit of that right now. You can manage how much social media you consume. Think about it for a minute. From the time you wake up, you are bombarded with information. There's news, there's the family, there's radio, there's TV, there's Facebook, there's IG, there's FaceTime, and the list goes on and on. And experts have said that we are bombarded with 35,000 messages a day. Wow, that is a lot of messages. For some of us, this pandemic has provided an opportunity for you to pause, to recalibrate. Maybe it's time to make a pivot in life, to change course, to take a different direction. And having a vision helps bring clarity to this process. Having a greater awareness of where you are now helps to identify the gaps. And it is in this awareness that you are able to set goals which will bring your vision to reality. It's about designing the life you want and not living life by default. Now, many of us are familiar with a vision board, and this is simply a tool which helps bring clarity, and it allows you to focus on specific goals and helps you to maintain accountability. There are other ways to have accountability, but we will touch on that later. When I did my review of 2019 in December, and I designed my vision for 2020, I wanted to look at my life in specific areas. And as I thought on it and reflected on it, I decided I would focus on these 5 areas: professional, spiritual, financial, health, and personal growth. And while most of my goals remain, I'm making changes now because COVID-19 has caused a shift to the timelines on some. And as a result of the global impact, some have had to be rescheduled altogether. And a vision is a very live thing. You get to change and make adaptations as you go. It is based on where you are presently, and it looks ahead to the future on where you want to go. I told you before that a vision board is a tool used to help you to clarify, concentrate, and maintain focus on a specific life goal. A vision board is any sort of board on which you display images that represent whatever you want to be, do, or have in your life. I am going to share with you a couple samples of vision boards so that you can get an idea of what they look like. Oops. I'm stuck. Oh, so this is one vision board here. And at a quick glance, you can see clearly some things would jump out at you. This individual wanted a healthier life, or they wanted to focus on fitness, and you see all the healthy food and the fruits and the exercises, freedom to travel, wealth and success, and having peace and joy in their life. And this other one focused more on phrases and words that to help them stay focused on the things that they wanted to achieve in their life. As the name suggests, vision boards are essentially a board full of images. But instead of having random images attached to the board, the aim of a vision board is to focus on your goals and your dreams. Vision board images should be images you see in your head when you think of what you want to achieve, gain, or create. Only those who clearly see their dream are able to seize their dream. The board is there to be used as a tool for clarifying, maintaining, and concentrating your focus on these goals. It's about making your ideas and dreams in your head more concrete. I heard this quote while participating in a mastermind group, and it stuck with me. It's by Peter Marshall, and I'll share it with you. Give us clear visions that we may know where to stand and what to stand for. And it is important for us to know where we are now. What is our starting point? Because where we stand, that determines the direction that we are going to go, and it influences the outcome of our dream or vision. Your goals can relate to any area in your life. You can have a vision board about your business objectives or the path you want your career to take. You can set goals for something specific like redesigning a room in your home. Or goals can have a vision that encompass anything in your life. It is your decision. It could also relate to specific aspects of your personal life. You can create a vision around your hopes as a human being of things that you want to achieve, whether it's in relation to having a family or being able to travel, or maybe even write a book. However, and I caution, if you think you can just slap a bunch of pictures onto a poster board and call it a day, then you've got it all wrong. If you think you can just cut and paste pictures of things you want in life and you will magically receive them because they're on the board, you've also got it all wrong. You should be choosing pictures and words for the vision board intentionally and understand that you have to put in the work in order for the vision board to work. You have to be willing to put in the work to realize the vision. The vision board is not magic on its own, but with the correct mindset and ambition, the results can be magical. So what's the point of making a vision board? Simply put, we as humans, we tend to be very, very busy. We're constantly bombarded by distractions. There's the home, their children, their extracurriculum activities. Then we have our own activities like studies, maybe the gym, social clubs, church, and creating and using a vision board serves several purposes that will help you and help you remain focused on your intention. One of them we mentioned already, and that was having a vision, setting a vision and being clear on what it is. The second one is to reinforce your daily affirmations. And the third one is keeping your attention on your intentions. For example, when we think about clarity of vision, and someone says to me, I want a better life. Now that is a very fine goal. But my question to them is often this: have you given serious thought to exactly what that means? Try to envision what a better life looks like. For those of us who find that somewhat difficult, making a vision board can be a tremendous help. In order to create your vision board, you must actively seek images that represent specific details of this wonderful new life, and that means narrowing it down to specifics. And the vision board allows you to be as detailed as you want it to be. So now I am going to share another vision board with you, and right, okay. So this is my vision board. And remember earlier that I had mentioned to you that when I created my vision, I wanted to focus on 5 specific areas for 2020. So in the bottom right-hand corner, this wonderful picture of this cathedral that is representing my how I want to focus on my spiritual journey for 2020 and what that's going to look like for me. The ice cream cones representing my life at BICO and the aspirations that I have for the teams and for the company as a whole. And then I just had the other areas. Well, I had fine dining, and of course then you had to have the gym afterwards because you might need that. Travel, and home is always an ongoing project, so that remains on my vision board. Visualizing your goals on a vision board will make the goals more concrete because you get to see the images of what you're working towards. You turn the abstract ideas in your head into real images. And this is why now is a good time. We have all been touched by the pandemic in some way. For me, I have lost persons close to me during this time. And it serves as a reminder that now is all we have. So we should live our best lives. Making a vision board is a wonderful way to help bring clarity to that general desire and to turn it into an achievable goal. Now, I mentioned affirmations earlier. Once you dream it, the next step is to believe it. In addition to vision boards, in addition to images, vision boards can include words, phrases, or sentences that affirm your intentions. So remember, I'm going to go back here quickly. Remember when I showed you my vision board just now? It had some words on it here at the bottom. And after a lot of inner reflection and quiet time, I thought about it. And these are the three words that I selected to be my guide through 2020. And each of them have some significance for me. To be courageous. And I chose courage because it is to remind me to step boldly into my dreams and not to allow limiting thoughts and beliefs to keep me chained to um, my comfort zone, not to allow doubts to keep me back from living my purpose. And I called gratitude to remind me that I am grateful for everything that happens in life and that life has taught me, even the failures that have happened in my life. Because what I have learned is that even in failing, I learn. I learn what works and I learn what doesn't work. You fail forward to your success. And abundance, because I am calling abundance into my life in every area. Abundance in good health, success, and freedom to do, be, and to have. And just because I'm me, I put it together in a phrase that would help me remember and remain intentional throughout the year. And so for me, my phrase for my vision board is courage and gratitude meet abundance. But you too can think about it. Think about what you really want. Take some time and be intentional with it. And think about what you really want to have in your life. What do you want to create? And see what words come to mind. You can write them down, all of them, and then you can review them. You can refine them, and you can redefine them until you get the ones that are really working for you. Remember, in this entire process of setting the vision for the new reality, it's about you and what you want to achieve. It's about you and how you see your future. It's all about you. Somehow, we must silence the mind chatter that plagues us. You know that little voice that pops up when you least need it? The one that supports and promotes all your limiting beliefs by repeating an endless litany of things that you possibly cannot do. For example, it will say, oh, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or you wouldn't ever be able to do this, or do you have what you really want? Affirmations, though, are that little boy's worst enemy. And that's why it is important. And I encourage persons, once you have those affirmations, get up every day and repeat them. Repeat them first thing in the morning. If you know them and you have them, whether it's on your phone or somewhere else, and you recall them during the day, say them again during the day. And last thing at night before you go to sleep, repeat those affirmations. Constantly be telling yourself the good things about you. Like things like, I'm worthy, I'm confident, I'm brave. Because what you say will manifest itself in your life. Affirmations express who we really are. They release you from those limiting beliefs and allow you to know that possibilities really are unlimited. The purpose of a vision board is to act as a daily reminder of your dreams. Ask yourself, when is the last time you sat down to think about your dreams? Our lives are so busy at times with work, with leisure, with family. We can't constantly be thinking about our dreams. Ask yourself, does your dream compel you to follow it? This is important in order for you to achieve your goal. And with a vision board, or if you just write a vision statement, with the vision board, you get to create a visual representation of the goal. And that reminds you about your goals every day. I encourage persons, once they have completed the vision board, to take a photo of it, put it on the fridge, save it on their phone, put it on the iPad or the tablet, put it somewhere where you can see it so that you can glance at the board throughout the course of the day or the course of the week and receive affirmations of the road on which you are walking or traveling on. As well as reinforcing your daily affirmations, the purpose of a vision board is to help you maintain focus. It helps you to keep your attention on your intentions. I'll share this little story about me. I set a goal to walk 3 evenings every week. And when I was leaving work, I would be all ready and focused. I know I'm going to quickly change and hit and go and do my circuit. But as I got closer to home, I would hear this little voice popping up and sending me all types of messages, reminding me the dogs are to be fed, the garden is to be attended to. I got to prep for the next day, prepare dinner, and by the time I reversed into my driveway, I have talked myself out for going on the walk. I have allowed distractions to impact me sticking to my goal. If you just think about your objectives, it is easy to start getting sidetracked or accepting less than you really want. So quieting those voices and minimizing distractions helps you to stay focused and intentional. Now, I want you to think of these questions that I'm going to ask. They all relate to your dream. So you can take your notepad and your pen. And what I want you to do after I ask the question is to rate it on the scale of between 1 and 5, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. Everybody ready? Okay, question number 1. I cannot imagine my life without my dream. How will you rate this? I cannot imagine my life without my dream. On a scale of 1 to 5, how will you rate that? Question number 2, I'm willing to sacrifice other important things for it. I'm willing to sacrifice other important things for it. Question 3, I'm fired up by my dream, preoccupied with it. Question 4, I can take it or leave it. Question 5, I prefer not to think about it. And question 6, I put it on my favorite list. So I'm just going to repeat the questions. I cannot imagine my life without my dream. 1, 2, I'm willing to sacrifice other important things for it. 3, I'm fired up by my dream, preoccupied with it. 4, I can take it or leave it. 5, I prefer not to think about it. And 6, I put it on my favorite list. It would be really good to see which one of these had the highest response. Being able to answer.
Could you repeat that again? If you
Certainly.
The audience wants you to slow down your speaking.
Oh.
Just list the six options again for which from we'll choose one of those options.
Okay. So I'm going to repeat the 6 questions and we are rating them on the scale from 1 to 5. 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. Sorry about talking too quickly. Here we go. Question 1. I cannot imagine my life without my dream.
And Karen, sorry to interrupt again. Are they just choosing one of those, 1 to 5? Or
they're answering the question. They're answering each question and rating it. And someone had a question just now about how it relates. But how you answer this question, will show you and highlight for you where the importance of your dream is for you right now. Because for some person who their dream is all consuming, that person may be very, very intentional. So it really is just about looking at the mindset of where you are as it relates to your dream. It also begins to give you some clarity of if you've really thought what your dream is, what it means to you, and what your purpose is. So I hope that provides a little bit more clarity.
Thanks, Karen. So if you give them again. So if you give the questions again, thanks.
Yes, I'm going to give them now. Question 1, I cannot imagine my life without my dream. Question 2, I'm willing to sacrifice other important things for it. Question 3, I'm fired up by my dream, preoccupied with it. Question 4, I can take it or leave it. Question 5, I prefer not to think about it. And question 6, I put it on my favorite list. Being able to answer these questions will provide a framework, a start as you create a vision. A vision board keeps your eye on the ball. You don't want to be the senior manager in your life, you want to be the CEO. And the daily reminder of your ultimate goal ensures you don't settle for less and you don't accept shortcuts. You work towards the objectives you want. Carolyn wants question 6 repeated. Question 6 is, I put it on my favorite list. On a list with everything, with all your other favorite things that you have to do. So the question there would be, how important is that dream then, if it's just on your favorite list? Vision boards are powerful tools for solidifying your dreams and turning them into reality. The process is perfect for identifying your goals and understanding exactly what you want from life, because it gives you a clear map of what you want and when you get, and also how. And even if you get derailed, because life happens and that's unavoidable. There may be sickness, you may start a new job, different things happen. It serves then as a reference from which you can refer to. And remember, you can adapt it. It's not set in stone, and you can make changes based on where you are at that time or what is happening in your life. And then you just pick up and you continue. You take the next step and you move it in the direction of the dream. The process and the actual vision board will help you focus, something which is essential today. You don't want to lose sight of what you truly want to achieve or settle for less. Perhaps above all, the vision board supports you in your journey towards your goal. It provides affirmation. You get that boost of self-belief when you look at your chosen images and remind yourself of the objectives ahead of you. The great thing about vision boards is their flexibility. You can use them for a variety of goals, from becoming a better person to achieving your dream career. The visualized format for obtaining objectives can be used for personal goals, or it can be used for a business, for a team, creating guidance on achieving success. So let's start thinking now about the dreams and desires that you want to visualize. There's an Italian proverb that says, between saying and doing, many a pair of shoes is worn out. And I'm sure that there are many other local or regional proverbs or sayings, but this one caught my eye because it was all about shoes. And anyone who knows me knows that I love shoes. I don't have to have any reason for shoes. I just love shoes. So this saying, between saying and doing, many a pair of shoes is worn out, is because you're going to be working at achieving the goal. So the shoes will be working hard. It is our mindset that will make the difference. You can still achieve your dreams, even if you need to make a few adjustments. You see, right now, as we are transitioning in a new reality, it's important to create the design you always wanted, but didn't get an opportunity to. I always encourage persons to be gentle with themselves. Sometimes we are our harshest critic. A mindset of blame and complaint will be counterproductive. Now is not the time for I should have or why didn't I, but rather a time to look at our lives through a fresh lens and design for ourselves the life that we really want. One definition of vision has described it as the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. How would you describe vision when you think? What comes into your mind? This is something that I'll invite you to share your comments in the chat. Remember, Remember earlier we said that this was going to be an interactive session. You can make a note in your notebooks, but you're more than welcome to share your comments in the chat. When you think of vision, what comes to your mind? Remember, the vision is unique to only you. It's your dreams and aspirations. There are no wrong or right responses. Just share in the chat your vision, your thoughts, sorry, on what a vision means to you. Sonia, would we, once persons start to share, would we be able to share some of those comments with everyone?
Yes, as they post them in the chat, once they posting to everyone, everyone will be able to view what is being submitted in the chat.
Okay.
And Karen, would you mind putting back up that last slide so that they can see the question again?
If the dream was if it was rated at a 5, it would mean that it was very important and that you couldn't imagine your life without it, and that would be correct. So anyone willing to share what vision means to them?
So we have a response from Yolande.
Okay.
Something or some things that is achievable and I feel passionate about.
Yeah, nice, nice.
And Alison writes, I have to narrow what area of vision I'm thinking of and focus on that. Not sure I can speak to several different areas at one time. And I think that's
that's okay. If your vision can be only about one thing, it doesn't have to be multiple things. It can be about one single thing. Your vision could be about redesigning your patio, and that's all that you want to focus on right now and give your full attention to that. So that's perfectly fine.
Katisha says, to me, vision is my idea of what I want for myself in the future.
Nice. Lovely, yes, nice.
And we have two more. Patricia says, a visualization of my future, what I desire. And Deborah echoes that it's about my future and where I want to be.
Lovely, lovely. Well, thank you all for sharing your comments. Really, really good. Now, for us to start defining our vision, we must first have an idea of what. This is the pop quiz section. I'm sorry, I didn't get to tell you all that, but this is the pop quiz section. It's the only question. There's only one answer, so somebody can put it in the chat. For us to start defining our vision, we must have an idea of what. What must we have an idea? I'll give you a clue. There's only one word. Any answers? I am. Purpose is right too, but I was looking for another word, John Michael. A photograph, that's kind of dream, Jennifer Blackman, yes, yes, that's the answer I'm looking for.
And Jackie said it a split second before Jennifer, so.
Okay.
Jennifer.
That is it, a dream. You have to have the dream. This is where your vision is birthed, is that dream of what you want everything to look like, what you want your future to say. You must also have clarity of your purpose, your why, that thing that ignites you daily. Clarity of vision clarifies our priorities. Even before we can write our goals, we should understand our vision in order to gain clarity. And it starts with our dream. So I have a few questions now to get you thinking so that we can create this vision. I'm going to put them up on the screen so that it will be easier reference for everyone. Why did that not move? Okay, good. So on your notepad, so that you can have it to look back on, because this is part of laying your foundation. You could write out your responses to these questions. Ask yourself this: when you are being your best, when you are at your best being you, what are you doing? Who are you with? Where are you? We are setting the context for your vision. We are revealing things that you may or may not think about all the time, but think into it now. When you are at your best being you, what are you doing? Has to be something you love, I'm thinking. Who are you with? Where are you? When you are at your best being you, what are you feeling? In that moment when you are at your best being yourself, what is important to you? What are you seeking? For this exercise, I want you to at least take a minute, or maybe a minute, maybe two, just to think into that and answer those questions. Remember earlier we talked about answering honestly and peeling back the layers so that we have a very clear understanding of what our purpose is, why it is our purpose, and where we're going. We're charting the direction on our personal map for our vision in the future. So when you are at your best being you, what are you doing? Who are you with? Where are you? What are you feeling? In that moment, what is important to you? In that moment, what are you seeking? So for me, I thought I would share some of my responses with you. When I am being at my best and just being me, I'm with my inner circle, I'm with my family. I'm doing nothing and anything. I'm also coaching or I'm training. I'm usually with my mom, my sisters, my BFF, or with like-minded individuals. So right now, I'm participating in a global leadership mastermind, which is being led by Dr. Diana Connolly, an ambassador for UN. And this is such an exciting mastermind for me because there are 16 of us from all over the world. There are persons from Nigeria and other states in Africa, Canada, the USA, Puerto Rico. I'm from Barbados. And everyone is really sharing their experiences as leaders and navigating through COVID. And one of the participants is actually an emergency doctor in the US, and she had been sharing some of what she sees daily and how she has been forced to adapt and change and really step up as a leader for the others that are looking towards her. So we share goals, and we also talk about things like how we have to change our mindset so that we can be our best self to those persons that we serve. Where am I when I am being my best me? I am outdoors, I am at home, or maybe I'm connecting on the phone. I usually feel happy and fulfilled and usually have a sense of accomplishment. What's important to me is that the persons that are around me feel comfortable and that they feel that they can be their true authentic self and that they know that I am going to turn up in the same way. And in that moment, I am seeking for persons to create memories or to gain awareness, to feel safe, and most of all, just to enjoy themselves and be happy. So now I've shared some of my responses. Do we have anyone that wants to share some of their responses when you are at your best being you? Because I think about 2 minutes has passed by now, right? Did I give you time?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, good.
And you can
So
ask.
anybody is willing to share?
And they can share any one of them, right? They don't have to share
Yeah.
all.
No, they can share anyone because really this is something that they will take those questions and they can look at more deeply on their own after we have finished this webinar. This is just to start the process, get everybody thinking in the direction that they need to go. Caroline wants the slide put back up for a minute. 30 seconds. Okay. All right.
Just reminding the participants that in order for everyone to see, you have to actually choose to everyone and not just to the individual, not to just present, otherwise only Karen can see it. But then that's okay if you only want Karen to see it.
Okay. It's important for us to understand where we are and who we are.
Karen, we do have 2 responses.
Good.
From Althea, for her best, her solace is at home with family, just being.
Nice. Very nice.
And from Jennifer, listening with empathy, alone or with young people, and in the place I feel closest with God, Bathsheba.
Nice. Lovely. That's one of my mom's favorite places.
And Yolande says, love being at home. So working from home suits her.
All right. Thank you all for sharing those comments. Those questions are really just for us to look within, to start to ask ourselves some of those deep questions that I mentioned to you before. And sometimes we overlook it and we don't pay as much attention to it, but it really is important for us to take a pause and to be intentional about looking within and be intentional about creating a vision for ourselves. It gives your life focus and it allows you to live your purpose. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has something that they are here to offer or to bring to this world. But it's up to each of us to discover what that is and then to bring it. John Maxwell says, to grow, you must know yourself. And asking these questions helps us to peel back the layers, to become aware of where you are on the map of your life, and then to set goals on how to reach your desired destination. Growth only happens when you leave your comfort zone. And to live your dream, you have to leave there. This is why you must be clear on your vision and your why, so that you can identify the steps and the goals that you need to take to get there. If you believe you need to make changes, what will it take for you to make them? What price are you willing to pay to visualize your dream? We pay an admission fee to go to the movies, to go to concerts, to go to events at Crop-Over. My question is, are we willing to pay the price of admission to enter into our dreams? Because we will have to pay a price. We have to pay the price of leaving our comfort zone. We pay the price of giving of our time. We pay the price of making whatever sacrifices are needed in order that we can achieve that goal. So I ask you, is your dream big enough? Is your dream compelling you? Is your dream calling you? And if it is, are you willing to pay the fee to gain admission to that dream? And that is a powerful question that everyone needs to think into and answer. Are you willing to pay the fee for that dream? Now, the first questions have started you thinking. Remember, there are no right or wrong responses. This is about you and creating a vision for your life, the life that you've always imagined. So before we move into goal setting, you first need to take one other little deep step. And you have to ask yourself this question. What is your vision? What do you really want that is an expression of your purpose? So we're going to pause here for another 2 minutes. And I want you to write the first things that come to your mind. I don't want you to overthink it. I want you to ask yourself, what do you wish to create, to do, to have? What does it look like? When do you want it? What is your vision? What do you really want that is an expression of your purpose? Pen to paper quickly. Before we move into goal setting, I want you to think about that question, because that question, once you identify that, that is going to help guide your steps in setting your goals. So the question again is, what do you really want that is an expression of your purpose? What is your vision? What is your vision? How is it an expression of your purpose? That thing that you believe and know within your heart that you have been called to do. That thing that is lodged within your heart that you think about all the time. What is your vision? What is it you really want that is an expression of your purpose? What we believe our purpose to be influences our vision. How is your vision an expression of your purpose? What specifically do you love doing? And you can be as descriptive as you like. When you get space, where do your thoughts go? What are you constantly thinking about? I'll give you another minute to just think into that. What is your vision? What do you really, really want? If you could have anything in the world and there were no obstacles and it was a guarantee, what do you really want? What is that expression of your purpose? Each of you have one. What is it? Enough time? I have to keep checking time. If not, I might get in trouble, and I don't want to get in any trouble.
We're good for time. Do you want anybody to share?
If they are willing, that would be so good.
And from our previous question, Allison had posted, my best me helping others and empowering them.
Oh, nice. Nice. So Allison just needs to take, when she elaborates on that for herself, is how is she going to empower them? What are the things that she can do or she can influence so that she can empower those persons? How is she turning up so that she can empower those persons? That's quite awesome. Understanding your responses to these questions just bring greater clarity to what your purpose is and to what your vision looks like. And that's why it's good to take the time to do it. I mean, usually you can do the vision, by itself and really spend time doing the exercises to get you to actually think into it so that you have that clarity on what your goals are that are going to take you to that vision, to that dream up there, what you want. So I believe that the 2 minutes may be up by now, but this is something I encourage each of you to continue working on and definitely to finish later. Remember.
Okay, Karen, we have a response.
Oh, good.
Post it first. Carol says, to see my stories dance across the pages of the world and to see it touched and positively transformed as a result of the engagement.
Lovely. Begin writing. We're waiting for those stories. Begin writing. That is really, really lovely. Begin writing. Don't let anything stop you. Every chance you get, write a story. Don't let anything stop you from that. That is excellent. Well done. Congratulations. So I was mentioning a vision statement is not fixed. It changes as you change and you grow. Where you were last month is not where you are today. And your vision changes according to where you are in life. A vision statement can be for any time. You can write a vision statement for how you want to show up post this pandemic, how you want to emerge in the new reality. You can look at your vision over different periods of time. You can look at it for 6 months, you can look at it for 3 months, you could look at it for a year and break it down into segments. Now, there may be some of us who have either not created a vision board or written a vision statement before, or may not have done it recently. My encouragement is just to start small. You can create a vision statement for even a weekend. There might be something that you just want to achieve on a particular weekend, and you can set that as your vision and intention for that. The important thing is to start. That's the important thing, to start and take the first step. With what we have looked at so far, you are ready to write the first draft of your vision statement. Back to the notebook, put the date, which is today's date, because this is when you're starting, and begin. A vision statement can be for any time. You can write a vision statement reflecting, just like I said just now, on how you want to show up post-COVID. You can write it for the next 6 months or the next 7 months to take you to the end of the year. The important thing is to remember that it changes to reflect where you are. It's not static, and it's based on your current circumstances. In January, I conducted a workshop, my first workshop on goal setting and visioning. And at that time, when everybody did their vision, there was no pandemic, there was no crisis. The world was not as it is now. And in what felt like the blink of an eye, everything has changed. And so have the visions. They have had to change because you have to make the adjustment now to the new reality that you're in. So I'm going to give you a moment to start your statement. This is important. Once you take this initial step, hopefully you are inspired to continue to reach for the infinite possibilities ahead of you. You don't have to let the pandemic define you, but rather you can take this time to define for yourself how you want to show up. I'm going to give you a moment just to start the statement, because I'm really hoping that you're going to continue to define it and to write it and rewrite it. So after a moment, and anyone is willing to share their start of their vision statement, because we know it is the beginning, we will be happy to support you in that. Okay, I'll just share. I started to write a little vision statement there as well. So mine starts to say that in the next 6 months, I will expand my client base while empowering women and helping those who feel stuck achieve their goals. I will invest in personal growth through virtual conferences rather than traveling. So really just think about key things that you want to create and have. Anybody has their vision statement that they would like to share? Nothing, Sonia?
Sorry, I was muted. No message.
Oh, I thought I was left here by myself for a minute. Oh, Carol is working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it. It's a deep assignment, Karen.
Yes, it is, but we're just starting because that would be like homework. So you have to continue after the webinar. The webinar is just, we're just starting you off. After this, you really, continue. If we were doing a full workshop, then we would delve into the vision and make some more statements, etc. But for right now, we just getting everyone started so that when they leave the webinar, they have the tool that they can actually start working on their statement, and then that would lead them to their goals, which would lead them to their vision board, and then they can start to gather their words and phrases or their photos that actually depict what it is that they have for their vision and dream. So this is all about just taking that first step. A vision with,
sorry, I'm saying the general consensus may be that persons are working on it.
Okay.
On that first statement.
Okay. So shall we give them another minute? Yes, Yolanda, you will be accountable.
And Liesel has been the first one out the gate, and she says to be fitter, leaner, and stronger by April 2021.
Excellent. So
Thank you, Liesel.
Now Liesel just needs to set her goals to take her there. What will she need to do to become leaner and fitter by April 2021? And those steps, those goals will be her stepping stones to get to that dream, to get to that vision. Thank you. Oh, Carol is sharing that. So Liesel has an accountability partner already. Anyone else?
And Janet says, this is
Nice.
To be a beacon for those in emotional, physical, or financial need, and to assist in the elevation of those who require it by offering time, words, and money as are required. And be happy while I do it. But plenty of money.
Yeah.
And she hit send before she changed her mind.
That is really awesome. And you know, that's a good thing, because when we put it out here, it is actually making it more concrete. It's actually another form of holding ourselves accountable, because we've said it out loud now. It's not just words in our mind.
And Allison says, I will take my Ministry Moses basket off the shelf and resume activity, helping and supporting mothers and guardians to babies at risk.
Lovely, very nice.
Jennifer says she's going to give Carol support to finish the first draft of my book of devotionals within 6 months, because there are people who need to know that they are not alone.
Jennifer, that is really very awesome. I thank you on behalf of Carol. That you will be a good asset to her. Thank you.
And John Michael says, within the next 6 months, I want to build capacity through courses online to become a proficient IT professional.
Good, good. So we are getting there. We're getting there. We have people here who know what their vision is and where they want to go. So now we just have to start manifesting it. This is really great. Nice. There is so much more to look at when it comes to understanding the vision you have for yourself and how to map it. But today we also want to look at goal setting. We all have set goals at some point in our lives. We also know that goals work if we do what we need to do to achieve those goals. We have to prepare to do things that we may not have done before. We will need to leave our comfort zones. Why isn't there a 100% success rate in achieving goals? Well, we have learned that there are 5 mistakes commonly made when setting goals. And this evening, we're going to look at 2 or 3, depending on the time. And I want to share, if you have ever set a goal and failed to achieve the goal. Let me pause here. Everyone is ready to move on. We'll finish the vision statement for homework. Y'all can raise your hand and Sonia will see. Yes? Okay, Carol says yes. Good.
Yes, and there are a few raised hands in the audience as well.
Good, good. So, if you've ever set a goal and failed to achieve that goal, I want to suggest to you, your failure to achieve the goal was not in the process of trying to achieve the goal, but rather in the process of setting the goal. You see, I mentioned there are 5 mistakes that are commonly made when setting goals. And if you make one of them, chances are you will fail on the goal. Goal setting is an intellectual process. All this means is that you are using your intellectual faculties like reason and logic when you set goals. Why is this a challenge? Well, your reasoning faculty is based on your logic, which is based on your current beliefs. If your belief is driving your reason and your reasoning is setting your goals based on your current reasoning, it is unlikely that you can produce something beyond what you have already produced. And that is because it's all based on where you are. It's not taking you outside of your comfort zone. You're right there within that safety net. It is unlikely that you can produce something beyond what you have already produced. It is said that we never outperform our own self-belief. And isn't this true? If anyone agrees with me, put up your hand. Isn't it that we tell ourselves we can't get this done, or this is never going to work for me? And then we are surprised when it actually doesn't happen. But this is what we tell ourselves. So we can't outperform our self-belief. Goal achieving is a lawful process, at which there are 6. However, for this evening, we're just going to look at 2. And the 2 that we're going to look at is imagination, because imagination is where you would love to be. You could just open and think big and dream endless. And intuition is that part of you that knows that you know. It's like what we say, your gut instinct. It's your internal compass. You know it's your next step. It's that voice within that's talking. That is your starting point. That's the state of mind you need to be in to achieve your goals. You need to be working from your imagination and your intuitive faculties. Securing your dream requires a plan. What do you need to do in order to begin your journey in fulfilling your dream? What actions need to be taken? These are captured in the goals that you identify. Mary Webb puts it this way: saddle your dreams before you ride them. Be prepared. Your journey begins with evaluating where you are, the place where you are right now. What does your life look like now during this pandemic? What does that look like for you? And then ask yourself, what will my dream look like when I achieve it? What steps do I need to take from where I am to where I want to be? What skills do I need? That gap you have identified is called personal growth. I also want to state here that in this entire process, it's not just about achieving the goal. It's not like if you want to lose weight, it's not about losing the 10 pounds. It's not about just achieving that sales budget. What it is really about is growth in the process. It's about who you become as a person on this journey. Remember, everyone who gets to where they are had to begin where they are. Start where you are with what you have. You have already been resourced with all that you need to take the first step. So for writing the book, for helping those in need, you are already resourced. You don't have to wait for anything. You can get it tomorrow morning and begin to do it. It's all up to you. You make that decision. You make that choice. So let's look at mistake number 1. We set goals we know we can achieve. Now, understanding how we set goals and how to condition our minds to work with us and not against us to achieve the goal. If you set a goal that you know you can do, you've probably surrendered the goal or lost your way or quit already. The problem with setting goals that you know you will achieve is that there's no inspiration. You are not inspired to go after something. I recently learned the Latin meaning of inspired is to be in spirit. In other words, to be in alignment with what we want. So, and that's important for you to achieve the goal. We need to be, everything we need to be in alignment with in order to go and achieve this goal. Now take losing weight. Well, that's just one for me because that's an up and down battle for me. So that comes as an easy reference. You want to lose 10 pounds, but you have done that before. And so you know that you can do it. So chances are, if you get buffed out the way, you're not going to be too bothered. If you go after something that you already know you can do, you abandon the goal because the reward is not great enough. It's not worth the pain. Your goal has to be worth fighting for. Your goal should cause you to leave your comfort zone, to leave your zone of genius or knowing. When we surrender the goal, it is because often when we step outside of our comfort zone, what happens? We meet life. We meet challenges that we did not expect. We encounter failure. But a goal requires you to do something new. And in that, you may feel some pain. And pain is the same whether you're going big or going small. If the reward isn't great and the pain is greater, what happens is we surrender the goal because there's no big inspiration. If you set goals that you know you can do, and Maslow says it nicely, he says that we can either step forward into growth or backward into safety. And if we are not inspired to go after the goal, if it is too much pain and the reward is not as great as the pain, and we don't think it's worthy, then what we do is we ask ourselves, why are we bothering? And we just step back into safety and we surrender the goal. We don't achieve it. Just a quick reminder that any questions that you have for the Q&A, you can put them in the chat and Sonia will gather them there. Right, Sonia?
That's right.
Okay. The next mistake that I want to look at is a big one. We require knowing how. Now, you tell yourself you require to know exactly how to do it in order to get the goal. And usually, this is manifested by those around you, close friends, maybe even family. When you share your goal, you get questions like, how will you get the time? Who will buy from you? How will you do that? Where will you get the money? The implication is that if you do not know how, it means you can't get the goal. And if you are looking for how, based on your current knowledge and resources, you will fail. You will not know how. And I could testify to this process works. It also helps if you believe. As a single mom, I wanted to own my home, like several of you. And I had heard all of these questions, how are you going to get it done, etc. But when I suspended the requirement to know, things began to happen. I had been to several financial institutions and had been turned down because I didn't qualify. On my penultimate stop, I had to call the bank that I was with and ask for a financial statement. The young lady that answered the phone said to me, can I ask, do you mind if I ask what this is for? And I said no, so I told her, no problem, this is what I'm wanting it for. I'm trying to get a mortgage and I have a meeting tomorrow and I need to have these financial statements. And I'm tired of running around because I've been turned down here, there, and everywhere. She asked me, would you mind if I spoke to a colleague of mine? I said no, because at this point in time, I had nothing to lose. That's what I told myself. And off she went. And she came back and I had an appointment set with her colleague. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that 2 weeks later, I had my mortgage and I was on my way to achieving another one of my goals and a part of my vision, purchasing my home. So we don't need to know how. We need to take the step. The Wright brothers did not know how to build, fly, or land a plane. Oh, sorry. They suspended the requirement of knowing how. If you require to know how, based on your current knowledge and resources, you will fail. You'll be clueless of how to pull it off until you do. A baby can't tell you how to stand. In fact, you can't tell anyone how to stand until after you have done it. You can tell them which muscles to use, if to engage your core, if to put your feet on the ground first, but you didn't know that until you did it. Suspend the requirement of knowing how. You are not going to know how to do it. You will fail forward all the way until you know how. You don't know how to do anything until you have done it. Is it fair then to tell yourself that you are required to know how before you start? I don't think so. We don't tell ourselves that we need to know how to be a good parent before we become a child. We don't tell ourselves we need to know how to ride a bicycle before we do it. We take the step. You don't know how. Take one step, make the mistakes, learn from them. Then identify the next goal. Make another mistake, take another step. Suspend the requirement of knowing how. If you are going to require knowing how to do it, you are going to stay in that zone, of comfort, and you will never enter into the goal of achievement. Edison didn't know how to create light. He tried hundreds of times until he knew how. We do not need to know how. What we need to do is to start where we are with what we have. Start. Okay, how am I going for time? I think I can get in one more. Yes?
Yes, that's like everybody's engaged here. So yes, at least one more.
Okay. So I'm going to get in one more, and then I wanted to share with you an acronym around the word secure, because dream is very important to you and you need to make sure that you have it secured. Another mistake commonly made is that we question our right to be, do, or have what we want in our life. And I wanted to mention this because when you are creating your vision, you don't want to limit your imagination. In fact, you want to think and dream big. The bigger, the better. When we start something new, it requires us to set goals. We question our right to be, do, and have what we want in life. We question our worthiness. But what we should do is ask, is the goal worthy of you? And why should you ask that? Simply put, to achieve the goal, you are the one that has to make all of these sacrifices. You decide what time. This evening, for example, you clearly felt that the webinar was worthy of your time. You could have been doing something else, but you sacrificed something else of lesser value, something that you felt was of higher value. When we question whether we are good enough, what we should be asking ourselves is whether the goal is worthy of us, not if we are worthy of the goal. If you are going to move from here to there, it will require sacrifice. We don't always understand the power of this, but we do know that there will be sacrifice. The law of sacrifice says we have to be prepared to let go of something of lesser value for something of greater value. Not trading like when we were children and not trading like when we were children and we traded TV time or going outside with friends. No, it's about defining your life. What is of lesser value and what is of higher value? You are of higher value. You are of higher value. And some people struggle with this and see it as perhaps arrogance, but never question your worthiness. Never question your worthiness. You will not reach your highest potential if you don't know your worth. And you are worthy. Whatever that goal is, whatever that dream is, I am telling you here this evening, you are worthy of that goal. You are worthy of that dream. However big it is yours. You are worthy of it. Zig Ziglar says, set your goals high and don't stop until you get there. Set your goals high and don't stop until you get there. The two other mistakes commonly made are being in love with the plan, and the other one is being in love with the plan, being worthy, and setting the goals and making the goal and having growth, and your growth, instead of being focused on the goal, being focused on your growth, on what you will get out of it. So those are the 5. So finally this evening, We have looked at creating your vision and why that is always useful, but perhaps more at this time of uncertainty. Having your vision written out or depicted on a vision board helps give you clarity, which in uncertain times is important as it helps you to stay focused and not get caught up in the distractions around you. To create your vision, you must first have a dream. It should be big and it should stretch you to leave your comfort zone. And most importantly, you should grow. So before we open for Q&A, I'm just going to go to the screen because I think it is easier that way if I go there and share that. Can you see? Yeah. So secure. Your dream must be secure. You need to secure your dream. So the S, state all your positions. Begin knowing where you are. Begin knowing what the dream looks like. That's your place of starting. E, examine all your actions. C, consider all your options. U, utilize all the resources that you have, and you are already resourced with everything you need. R, remove all non-essentials. And this one is very important. Let go what you need to let go of. Examine yourself. If there are things that you are holding on to that need to be let go, let them go. If there are persons in your life who are not adding value and helping you and supporting you in this quest, let them go. And E, embrace all your challenges. Everything before you is for your evolvement and your growth. So secure your dream. You are worthy of it. Secure your dream. I hope this will help you stay on track with your vision and goal setting. I encourage each of you to create the vision for the life you want now, today, and tomorrow. I want to encourage you to be intentional about setting aside time to think into what your dreams are, to answer the questions that we asked earlier, and then to set goals to get there. This is not a journey to travel alone. In addition to your vision board, get an accountability partner. It can be a coach, it can be a mentor, or it can be someone in your life that will stretch you, somebody that will call you out if it's needed. And if you are stuck and you need any support, you can always get my contact details from the university. Don't live your life by default. Design the life you dream of. Hold that dream. Believe in yourself and promise me that you will be intentional. Sonia, we are open for Q&A, question and answer time. I'll answer them as best as I can.
And we do have a question on the board, but before we did that, just wanted to acknowledge Deborah's contribution to her vision statement.
Absolutely.
Right. Deborah wrote that her vision statement is to be the best recyclable crafter.
Nice.
And thereby, in my small way, help save the environment. I thought that was awesome.
Lovely, lovely. Start creating, Deborah. You can just let everyone know where you will be, and we can all come and support you and purchase.
Okay, so Allison has a question. Earlier in the presentation, Karen, you mentioned that vision boards should remain fluid, but are there any aspects of visioning that should remain fixed? Are there any foundational aspects of a vision board?
The foundational aspects of the vision board would be your purpose, your why, what it is that it's calling you. And the reason why it is fluid is because things are happening in life all the time. When you were at the beginning of the year, Jan, Feb, you were going along and you would have made plans for things that you wanted to do in March. But then in March now, COVID entered the globe, the world for everyone, and then we were on lockdown, and things that you would have wanted to do, you couldn't do. So if you had something planned then, you would have had to make changes. And that's why the vision board is so unique, because it affords you that flexibility to change. What does not change is your purpose. Although I will say this, your purpose and your dream is governed by what is happening in your life, your circumstances. And while there may be some stability with that, there also is room for that to change depending on what happens in your life. Does that help?
And Allison says, purpose, yes, absolutely. And Deborah states,
Okay.
my word for this year is focus. Mark Twain said, you can't depend on your eyes when your vision is out of focus.
That is true.
So she plans to dream big and focus on success.
Excellent. And that quote really just speaks to having your clarity. You must be clear on what your dream is. That is very important.
And at the moment, I don't have any other questions. So Karen, any final words from you?
Well, I really hope that it has been a beneficial webinar, that persons have some tools and some nuggets that they can go away with, and they can start to write their visions and to live those dreams that they have, fulfilling the purpose that they have been called to. And I will take the opportunity to say thank you for being my moderator and doing such a wonderful job, and to express my thanks to Dr. Greenidge and his team for inviting me to open and lead this webinar series. It really has been my pleasure to you and to participants came in for sharing your thoughts and your ideas, and even for your questions. Thank you all so much.
Okay, so we just have a little bit of housekeeping to end us off. So we want to thank you all again for attending our first in the series, our first webinar in the series. And on the screen, so I just want to say a heartfelt thank you then to Karen, who spent this evening with us, and it laid the foundation for what we wanted to achieve with this series. We wanted to give back to our community, and we really wanted to help you invest in yourself through the tools and the exposure to the different concepts as we go through the next 5 weeks. So over the next 4 weeks, this was week 1 of 5, we have coming up next week, Leading Effective Virtual Teams by Professor B.J. Punnett. And that's going to be next Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. Following week, we are going to have Auditing Analytics presented by Dr. Terry Harris and Dr. Amir Michael. And that's going to be on Wednesday, June 3rd from 1 to 2:30 p.m. And coming up after that, we're going to announce those dates a little later, Cybersecurity, which will be a panel discussion, and a Digital Business presented by Dr. Gareth Beeston. So just keep following us. We will also email you the invitation as you would have received this one so that you can join us for those series. And CPDLL, the Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning, is also one of the tools that you can have in your toolbox for repurposing and re-equipping yourself and retooling yourself for the new environment. These are some of the courses that are available through, this is not an exhaustive list, but what you're seeing on screen are some of the courses that are available through the CPDLL. So you're gaining a professional advantage with our online short courses, and we have reduced the price to $500 Barbados dollars each. And you can see a list, again, it's not exhaustive, but these are some of the small short workshops coming up next. And also I want to show you then at the bottom of the screen, just highlighting here, how you can get in contact with the Center for Professional Development. You see the website, our usual URL for the campus, kphil.ue.edu/lifelong-learning, and follow us on social media at a variety of those different platforms. A recording of today's session is going to be available on our Facebook page, and you're going to be getting an email from us shortly asking to provide feedback for today's session so we can know how to improve, and so you can give us your thoughts about what you would also like to see us offer in the future. So with that said, that is the end of our session today. And I just want to thank you again for coming, for attending, and for staying, because nobody left. So that is really good. And we are therefore glad that we were able to impact you in some way this evening. So thank you all, and good night.
Thank you. Thank you, and good night, everyone. Be safe.